Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. It's going to be wonderful to connect with you today, especially with our special guest, Kelley Hunt. We love Kelley Hunt, don't we? Oh my. So let's get started. Welcome to the light and love that is Unity of Lawrence on Zoom. I don't know about you all, but I woke up to a surprise with all the snow and this deep freeze that we're in. And what can warm our hearts better than listening to Kelley Hunt? I really can't wait. And having all of you here is a wonderful, heartwarming experience too. So let's begin with prayer. Let's join our prayer chaplain, Sharon, as we begin our service by opening to the divine presence we know is within us.
Wow, let's just all take a deep breath together, knowing that every day we can celebrate love, but especially today, traditionally, we celebrate the power of love. And it's wonderful to have Kelley Hunt, who always is celebrating the power of love, here to speak and do music for us. So we are grateful for this opportunity to acknowledge the power within us, the power of love that is outside of us, all around us. And it is our touchstone in life to remember who we are and all that we can do and be. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Sharon. Now let's join Holly in singing Something Wonderful by Harold Payne. And the words to the songs are all in the reminder that we got this morning. Thank you, Kathy.
Good morning, Unity. Happy Valentine's Day to you all. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, feel it in my soul, feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. All this love inside, we can let it shine. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. 'Cause I can feel it in my body, feel it in my soul, feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful.
Thank you. I love that song. Something wonderful truly is going to happen in our lives today and every day. So now let's start with our unity intentions. Sing along or say them along with me. Please affirm Unity's founding principle. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. Now our Unity of Lawrence vision. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And the UOL mission, we are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. And who better to inspire transformation than our very own Kelley Hunt? As my Dad used to say to me, he'd say, honey, I'm so glad I got you. And Unity says, Kelley, we're so glad we got you. So here's Kelley Hunt. She's a singer, songwriter, recording artist, speaker, and workshop facilitator based in Lawrence. Thank you, God. She is currently at work on her 7th album with an expected release of 2021. Welcome, Kelley.
Thank you. Just everybody can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start out with some music because that's my wheelhouse, and that's what I want to do for my home community here at Unity of Lawrence. It's really nice to be home, and happy Valentine's Day. And like Sharon says, it's all about the power of love. I got the power of love, the power of love. I got the power of love, power of love. I got the power. Somebody might have hurt you. Oh yeah, could have happened yesterday. But it takes a strong man and a strong woman to have the will to turn away with the power of love. Power of love. It's the power, talking about the power of love. All right, power. Well, do you want to be happy? Oh yeah, here's a choice that you can make. Just remember, everybody in the whole wide world needs a little give and take, because they need the power of love. Power of love this morning. Power of love, the power. We need the power of love right now. Power, little bit of love, and oh, over and over again. Very soon you're gonna feel it, because everybody's got the power of love. We got the power of love right now. The power of love, power of love. All right, the power. Everybody's got all around this whole wide world. Power. All right. Woo! All right, everybody, it's about the power of love today. And my talk is about a Valentine, not only worth giving, but receiving. And y'all see we've got our built-in Valentine right here. Kind of fun this morning. And I want to start with a story. And I think this is something that many of us have experienced. Or if we haven't, we've heard about this. So when I was in elementary school in Emporia, Kansas, every Valentine's Day, we would all grades, well, it was grade kindergarten through 6, and everyone would make a box, a Valentine's box. And most of the kids, myself included, would use an old shoe box, and we would cover the box with wrapping paper or construction paper or tin foil or really whatever we had. And the teachers in every grade would say, I want you to decorate your box any way you'd like, and as long as your name is on it and everybody can see who the box belongs to. And this was a real exciting big deal for us kids. And then the teachers would say, I want you to put a Valentine in each of your classmates' boxes. These can be homemade, you can buy them. We knew far in advance that this was going to happen. And then after we did that, everybody could open their boxes. We'd have a little party, maybe with cupcakes or Kool-Aid or whatever was on hand. And when I was thinking back to that, a couple of things struck me. One was we were expected to give each child a Valentine. It was very inclusive. That's just how you did. That's just you did. So I can remember sitting at our breakfast room table, and sometimes I would buy those little Valentines, and that would have little characters that would say like "Be mine" or whatever it was, with a little duckling or a little bunny or a little heart. And I thought those were pretty groovy. And I would turn them over. I'd write a little note to each person in my class, and I'd sign it. And they had those tiny little white envelopes. And sometimes my mom would buy a bag of those heart candies. They were kind of chalky. And each of the little hearts had something on it, like "Be mine," "Kiss me," "I'm yours," "Love." You know the drill. And so every envelope got a little heart in it. Or sometimes we'd put a piece of gum. Sometimes we would make our Valentines, and that was really, really fun. So I remember the feeling and the anticipation of taking my box and putting it on my desk. And I remember one year in particular, I was very proud of my box. I had decided to put tin foil on it, and I had taken markers and made big hearts and put names and, oh my gosh, all kinds of stuff. And then I took pipe cleaners and had a heart come up kind of out of it and glued that on. I can still remember this. And many of you may be able to remember that too. So I got to school. I was probably in second or third grade, put the box on my desk, and all the other kids did too. And around lunchtime, maybe it was after lunchtime, the teacher would say, "Okay, I want you to deliver your Valentines." And we'd all get out our little bag of Valentines and go put them in the little boxes and try not to look, when somebody was putting one in ours. And it was really exciting. And the feeling I got when I thought of Valentine's Day then was inclusive. It's for everybody. We can all do this. It's not about how much we spend. It's about making it our own. And then would come the time when we could lift those lids off the boxes and just start looking at what we got. And here's a candy, and oh my gosh, here's a note, and from each of our classmates. And then our teacher would say, "Okay," and pass out the cupcakes or the cookies that one of the moms or dads had made. And we had a little party, and it was really fun. Then we got to take it home and keep our box, keep our Valentines. And I bring that today to say that Valentine's Day, though we all know there are origins that don't relate to really how we celebrate it now, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about how we can give that same feeling to others and to ourselves. And where in the world does that feeling come from? I think I like the idea of setting aside a day or even just a moment to say, "Happy Valentine's Day." And the symbol that we use most often is right here, a heart. And I think about our own hearts. And within that, I also think about where is the origin, not of the day, but of the feeling, where we can be inclusive, we can celebrate love, the many aspects of love. And where does that come from? Well, in my mind, it comes from the source of all things, the divine nature that we all have within ourselves. I think many of us have heard the metaphor that if we think of the universal spirit or God, or however you want to, whatever term you want to use, we think of it as an ocean. And we're waves. We are not separate from that living, breathing entity, the water. We are immersed in it. And in fact, it is within each and every one of us. I was making a cup of tea the other day, and I have some throat coat tea right here with me this morning. And on the little tab on the tea bag, it said, "The universe is within you, bright and beautiful." The universe is within you, bright, beautiful. So, what if we feel particularly bright and beautiful, no matter what's going on in our lives? Sometimes we can feel that and generate that for ourselves. Sometimes it almost feels impossible. So, a day like Valentine's Day is a reminder of that possibility. And sometimes it does come from someone else. They write us a note, they give us a call, they send us a text. And over the past year, most of those reminders from our community and our loved ones couldn't be in person. In fact, just this morning, we were talking about what a day that will be when we can walk back into the building at Unity of Lawrence, and all our friends and folks in the congregation, visitors there for the first time, Holly, the singer, Kathy, Betty, Sharon, everybody, Michelle, we can all be there together. Sometimes it feels easier to remember that the universe is within us, bright and beautiful, when we can hug somebody and we can tell them in person. But our challenge, one of the many this past year, has been, how do we do that without the hug, without the in-person? And isn't Valentine's Day just perfect for that? And sometimes we have to do that to ourselves. And we've had a lot of this these past 11 months. And one of the ways we can do that is by doing what calms us and soothes us. That can be anything. Meditation or just being quiet, listening to music can be a Valentine to yourself. And remembering that, you're not the only one that might be feeling that way today, meaning any day. And so when we think of the symbol of the heart, the symbol of the heart within, and the divine nature that is within each of the human beings on the planet, we remember that we are literally all in this together. So sometimes it can say, "Well, I don't feel bright." Well, guess what? You're not the only one. And the value you can give yourself sometimes is to reach out to somebody else and remind them they're loved, they're appreciated. And think back to those little bitty white envelopes and what was inside. It might have just been a little piece of paper with a drawing or a little chalky candy. But what was really inside of those envelopes was the intention of love, appreciation, fun, and inclusiveness. We include ourselves in that, and we include others. The first unity principle, which I like to refer to, the first of 5 unity principles, is God is all there is and present everywhere. This is the force of love and wisdom that underlines all existence. God is all there is and present everywhere. This is the force of love and wisdom that underlines all existence. And I particularly like the verbiage, this is the force of love. Many times we think of love as something passive, something maybe present, um, a symbol, something that doesn't have strength and power to it. And on Valentine's Day, we can sometimes only think of romantic love. And that's valid and beautiful. And I'm grateful that I experienced that in my life, but it wasn't always so. And when we don't have a certain kind of love, or we put it in a category, as with our human nature as a human being, we think, oh, it's this, or it's this. I love the idea of this is the force of love and wisdom that underlines all existence. Power of love is mighty. And many of us have experienced that in different ways in our life. So a Valentine is a symbol of taking a moment to actually acknowledge the love, not only within yourself, but the love you feel for someone else, the appreciation of their presence in your life, allowing yourself to reveal real feelings and be vulnerable and be, guess what, in the now. When you receive a Valentine from someone, one of my favorite Valentines was a little handmade Valentine that my son made me many, many years ago. I still have it. And it revealed his childlike vulnerability, which all children, I believe, are born with. And if they're nurtured and loved, they can continue. And it gave me the opportunity to stop what I was doing, be present in that moment, and appreciate what he had done from his little, 5-year-old heart, and made a drawing for him and mommy, and hearts and flowers, and he included things I liked in it. And his Valentine present to me was a coupon for 8 hours of sleep. Well, I said, thank you very much. I could certainly use that right about now. And that was one of my favorite Valentines I had gotten to date. A Valentine makes something or someone special. And when we have unabashed affection for our friends, for our family, for our beloved, unabashed, then that allows us to step into that divine nature that is within each and every one of us. Be willing to say, I love you. I love you. I love you. Be willing to say that out loud, either with a card or without a card, with the intention behind it is what counts. It doesn't matter how fancy or if it's homemade. The intention and the connection is everything. We have to be willing to be vulnerable. I remember a Valentine, one of my Valentine was in elementary school, from a boy. And I wasn't into boys in that way at the time. They were my friends. They were my playmates. I'd known them since I was, 4 years old. We all knew each other well. I grew up in the town of Emporia, moved there when I started first grade. I went to the same school with all my classmates until I graduated from high school. But I remember this one Valentine, and he said, Dear Kelley, it's probably spelled D-E-E-R, I love you. Signed his name. And he wouldn't look at me the whole day. But he had put that on a little card and put it in my box, and he allowed himself to be vulnerable and just say it out loud on the card. Of course, that was where it stayed and nothing else happened. But when I thought back on that, how dear. and how brave. How brave. So here's a quote that I just love from one of my favorite authors, Irish writer John O'Donohue. And it's from his poem, A Blessing. He says, and I love this, love is a verb. To love is to bring yourself as an offering to the world. And that is an active state, not a passive one. To hold another being in compassion is an action. It is not an inert state. So, what better time and reason to celebrate love than Valentine's Day? Love is a verb. And I would go on to say, love is a blessing. We choose to feel it, we choose to give it. There's a song that I wrote many years ago that has a line in it that says, long may you live with an unguarded heart. An unguarded heart. Give it freely. Say, I love you. Be willing to be vulnerable. Many of us understand what it feels like when we've been unguarded with our heart and we've gotten hurt in some way. Now, I'm not saying to subject yourself to abuse in any way, verbal, physical, any kind of abuse. What I am saying is be willing to discern with an unguarded heart when to express your love and be willing to receive it. Have you ever said thank you to somebody and they discarded it and go, oh, it was really nothing. Oh, and how did that feel? You didn't feel received. You didn't feel heard. Thank you, being willing to accept that is also a form of love. The next time someone thanks you sincerely, thank you for this. Instead of discarding it, say, you're so welcome. It was my pleasure. Let your heart take that in. Now, there are many different examples and ways of showing love. And here are just a few. And I want you to think about some examples that you've experienced. You know, flowers and chocolates and cards are nice and appreciated. And sometimes we have to kind of spell out what it is we like and what we need, even more importantly. Here are a couple of examples of love. Many, many years ago, when I was a single mom, it was Christmas time, and I went to visit my parents with my son, and my whole family was there. And I was sitting in the kitchen and trying to adjust to the fact that I was a single mom now. And it felt good to be in my parents' home where I grew up. And my dad walked in the kitchen, and he's not super demonstrative. He doesn't always say, I love you. Although he has more recently, which is really interesting. He came in and he said, well, Kel, how you doing? And I put on a brave front and I said, Dad, you know, I'm doing okay. My son's doing all right. I'm here with everybody. I feel pretty good. It's, you know, it's Christmas time. And then he said something that I thought was really interesting. He said, what do you need? And I don't think I had ever been asked that by him before. What do you need? And I thought for a moment, and I said, well, I could sure use some floor mats and jumper cables for my car. And I need to be with my family. And he just nodded and he said, okay, good. And then we went on and we had our Christmas Eve dinner. The next morning, everybody opened presents. It felt good to be together. I stayed an extra night, my son and I, just to be in that warm embrace of love. And then it was time to go home. And I walked out to the car. That time I had an old station wagon. I think it was a K car. And I got into the car after saying goodbye to everybody and hugging everyone, got my son all set up, and there were floor mats on the floor and a set of new jumper cables with a ribbon around it. That was an expression of love. That was my dad's way of saying, "Oh, I heard you. I love you." Just letting somebody know you're thinking of them specifically. Do they like a certain kind of food? Do they like a certain kind of flowers? Can you help them, watch their kids? Can you just call FaceTime or Skype and say, "Hey, I just want to see your doggone face. It does me good to see you." Boy, are we grateful for online video, for Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, StreamYard, all those things. What a lifesaver it's been. And so words of encouragement, saying "I love you," say those to yourself as well. We have the bright and the beautiful within us. We just simply need to remember it and access it. So here are some things to try this week. As far as I'm concerned, Valentine's Day is a good day to mark these things and to participate in them. But why not have that be year round, the intention behind that? So here's 3 things to try this week. Make a phone call. Send a handwritten card. Acknowledge someone. Just acknowledge them. We never know what somebody's going through during a day, and we can't necessarily see them or hug them. Call them up. "Hey, I'm just thinking about you. I love you so much. I'm how you doing? What's going on?" And number 2, do something nice for yourself. Doesn't have to be about money. Doesn't have to be about fancy or big plans. It might be taking a nice warm bath. It might be reaching out to someone and saying, "I really need to talk to somebody today. I miss you." But do it for yourself. Make a nice meal for yourself. Many of us have been isolated since the middle of March of 2020. I feel extremely fortunate that my Valentine, my husband, and as you all know, I also call him my boyfriend, who is in the room with me right now, facilitating me being here with you. We've been together during that time. I haven't been by myself, but many of us have. So treat yourself gently and kindly and with love. And number 3, remember someone who might not be shown love and affection, and they're all around us. They may not be open to a phone call. They may not be open to speaking eye to eye with you, but they might be surprised and be filled with love to receive an anonymous card. You don't even have to sign it. I received one of those a few months ago, and it just made my day. I still have it. I don't know who sent it. Matter of fact, I have no idea, and that's okay. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Be your own Valentine for yourself and for someone else. And as we get ready to ease into meditation, let's take a deep breath. And let's relax our shoulders and our neck and our back. I love that. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Prayer for protection is a perfect Valentine, isn't it? So get comfortable. Relax all the muscles in your face, your neck, your chest, down through your abdomen, your core, your lower back, your arms, your fingers, your legs, your ankles, your feet. And close your eyes. we remember on this cold and frosty Valentine's Day that love is all. All is love. And as we allow ourselves to go deeper and relax even more, we take another deep breath and we breathe. And we breathe. And we think of a time when we felt that deep and abiding love at whatever age and whatever time of our lives. And we feel that feeling of energy coming up through our core, through our chest, all the way through the top of our head. And the excitement and the joy we felt at someone holding us in their thoughts and in their mind and appreciating us at that moment. And we remember what that felt like. And we breathe. And we let that feeling flow all through our body, like that warm ocean wave. And we know we are not separate from that water. For love is all, within, without, around, all encompassing. And when we let ourselves revisit that feeling of acceptance, appreciation, compassion, and we breathe that in, and we remember that we have that at all times. Love is all is love. Not just on Valentine's Day, but whenever we step into the moment that we remember that. And we can see that in our mind's eye, and we can feel that in every part of our body. Love is all is love. Love is everywhere. Love is all is love. Love is everywhere. So on this morning, sweet and tender, joyfully we lift our voice. And on this morning we remember there is reason to rejoice. Love is all is love. Love is everywhere. all is love. Love is everywhere. And as we let ourselves come back into this moment and this day, and we breathe, and we remember back into our bodies, and we open our eyes, and we say to ourselves and to those who we love, our beloveds, everyone here watching this right now, I love you. And we say to ourselves, I love you too. Love is all. Love is all. Love is all. All is love. Love is everywhere. Happy Valentine's Day.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much, Kelley. I love you
I love you.
from the bottom of my heart. You've warmed us up, opened our hearts. You're so good at that. And remember, Sherry Schultz used to be, I used to love her saying, she would say, let's splash some love around. I think that's a nice image. Thank you so much. All right, now it's a perfect time to give thanks and our offering. Join me as we hold our gifts in our hands with love in our hearts, and let's us affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Now let's join Holly in singing the healing song by Karen Drucker. And while we're doing that, go online and give via PayPal or write a check and mail it in, or make an arrangement with your bank to have an auto pay to the church. And thank you very, very much. So let's go ahead and sing this song.
Joy fills every cell of my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow spirit to do what it does. Peace fills every cell of my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow spirit to do what it does. God fills every cell of my body. Every cell is alive in love. I relax into the healing process. I allow spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell of my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow spirit to do what it does. I allow spirit to do what it does.
Even though we aren't seeing one another in person at this time, we can bless one another by sending love through visualization. We can bless our whole community just by thinking of the power of love and by opening our hearts and sending warmth and support. And we do this also as we support monetarily our community in order to keep our building open, to pay our speakers and our musicians and our office manager and our other support people who are paid. This is a way of showing love as well. And we are grateful for the opportunity to have community and to support it. And so it is. Amen.
All right, everybody. Assuming you can hear me okay? Okay. Here we go. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. Oh, people all over the world, join hands to start a love train, a love train. Well, the next stop that we make will be England. Now tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Don't you know it's time to get on board and let this train keep on riding, riding on through. Ooh, I said people all over the world, join hands, all over this world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. Now all of your brothers and sisters in Africa, just tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too. Well, please don't miss this train at the station, 'cause if you miss it, I feel sorry, sorry for you. Oh, well, people all over the world, you join hands, start a love train, a love train. Well, people all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. Let it ride, let it ride, let it ride, just let it ride. One more time, come on, people all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. All over this world. All right.
All right. Yay, Kelley. Oh, gosh. Can't you just see that conga line we could have at Unity if you sing that song again when we're back together? My heart feels full. Even if it is deep freeze, my heart is totally warmed up. Now we have time for a few announcements. We have recently started to include the words of the songs in the email reminder that you get so that you can follow along. We love singing in Unity, don't we? Remember, excuse me, that our website is updated regularly with new information about continuing and upcoming events of interest to our Unity community. Check us out at unityoflawrence.org. Even though the building is closed, the church is open. If you have feedback about our services, or if you need more information or have a request, such as getting on the Unity e-newsletter, you'll always know what's going on when you get on our e-newsletter. If you're not already on it, get a hold of Kathy, our beloved Kathy, at 785-841-1447, or send an email to Kathy at info@unityoflawrence.org. Next week, we have one of our own, Martin Dowman, who's going to bring the message. We're going to keep the love going, and his message will be, "It's the Power of Love." Eager to hear that. And also, I'm really excited to hear again the Star Sister Revival. Love those women. It'll be a delightful service. So now let's bless our youth and ourselves. Let's rub your hands together and say with me, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. So it is. And now let's sing the original peace song with Steve Epley.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, children all are we. Let us walk with each other, perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
All right, now let's say together the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now, I love this time of sharing. We're going to go into a little breakout for just a couple of minutes so that we can splash some love on Kelley and say hello to each other. I'm really eager to say hello to a few folks that we haven't seen in a long time, like Tanya and Paul. I'm excited to just open it up for a couple of minutes. Avery will do that. So just stay on if you can for just a few minutes, and we'll splash some love around to everybody.